All right, what's up everyone? We are back with another Road to Pro series. It's been a while since we've done these, but today I'm gonna bring you a few mental tips that have helped me that I learned from professionals while I was at Worlds. Let's get into it. All right, so while I was at Worlds, one, I was fortunate enough to get all the way out there, but two, I was fortunate enough to not only learn things for my physical game of disc golf, but the mental game as well, and just how the pros kind of approach rounds, approach bad situations, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna play, I think this is a new to channel course. We're at Empire Park, and I'm just gonna give you guys a few tips on how to hopefully maybe improve your mental game, or at least see how the pros kind of attack courses on the mental side of things. All right, I'm just gonna play the front nine here because I do still have to go to work. We got up early to get this one. Hole one, 309 feet. You kind of have one tree in the middle of the fairway. It definitely plays more to the forehand, which is what I'm gonna do. The backhand line, there's a ton of trees. It's really tight, and if you fade out early, you could get into the water, so forehand it is. As per custom on these things, haven't warmed up at all. It's not bad. A little short, probably circle's edge. All right, we've got a new one in the bag. FX2, let me get out of the shadows there. This one's a Thomas Gilbert run. Should be a bit more stable than that 400 one I just threw. Oh, well, it definitely is more stable, but I also just early released. That's the tree I was talking about right in the middle of the fairway there. All right, there's nothing like some circle's edge putts to get the round started here. Oh, it stuck to me. I hate that. When my hands get wet and then I dry them off, it like completely overcorrects. Now my hands are like sticky. I don't know how that all works, but there we go. Oh, never mind. All right, mental tip number one, kind of comes on the physical and the mental side. It plays into both. That's why I'm gonna do it first. And that's to play within your game. And I know it sounds super like cliche or like very obvious that like, yes, I should play within my game, but imposter syndrome is a real thing. And I mean, I even experience it myself a lot of the times, but like, at least for me, something that I've noticed is like, I see these guys even in, you know, my own division in MA2 that are throwing 450, 500 feet. They just throw bombs. And I'm like, why can I not do that? And so off the tee, I'm like, I need to figure out how to do something that's just as aggressive or gonna get just as far when I know I really can't do that. And then that leads to me typically turning over forehands or throwing too much anti-ice on a backhand and it burns over. Those are my typical mistakes when I try to throw far and match those shots. So I understand that I just need to play, okay, he's 100 feet down the fairway. I just have to be okay with that, right? And make a better second shot to get to the basket or whatever that may be. And kind of the example that I was given was on hole 17 at Ivy Hill. It's a huge water carry, OB, pretty much all around, super tight island on the back side of it. And all three people before him land on the island. And he's bottom of the box and he's like, okay, you know, I really need to make the island. He changes discs last minute because he wants to make it there. He ends up going OB long. And so him just changing his mindset right there caused him to go OB when he had hit the island with a different disc in rounds prior. So it's one of those things you can't really compare yourself to the competition because you guys don't play the same way. I guess some people have the same play styles, but you guys don't play the same way. So it's one of those things, if you just know the shots you can make, you'll have success. And I've found success doing that. So hole two, 354 feet. You kind of have, again, backhand hyzer over the street, definitely a risky play, but you also have the forehand kind of over the street, and the street and beyond is OB. So like off the tee here, I'm going forehand anyways because that's my best shot. You're playing OB over the whole time. However, if you don't like turn it too much, you have no trouble landing back inbounds, or you could potentially get a road skip and it will kind of funnel back to the basket. So we're gonna go forehand. Really just have to miss this tree in the middle and we should be all right. See, I threw that low. Skip, skip. I think that skipped off the road like 3 or 4 times, and I'm probably, again, another circle's edge or maybe circle 2. Playing your own game is something that's helped me tremendously. And one of those examples was I played in the KC Wide Open, like the Masters AMs tournament one, not the professional one. And that whole time I had game plans going into every single course. You know, I did practice rounds and I had the shots. And when it got to the point, regardless of what anyone did in front of me, I threw the same shots that I threw in practice because I wasn't trying to change my game plan based on what these other guys were doing, even if they threw a better shot than me. You know what I mean? All right, definitely in circle 2, I actually almost went, like it would have been better to either be really short or got it higher and would have been longer. This little tunnel or whatever you call this is out of bounds. Landed just short of it. Tough putt here, actually. Oh, yeah, that was all I could do, is just try to muscle it up there. I didn't want to jump putt or anything like that. All right, hole 3, 558 feet. It says par 3 on the sign. I've only ever played it as a par 4, so I'm gonna play it as a par 4 because it definitely is. First shot, you want to land somewhere kind of by like, or at least throwing out towards the power lines over there, and then it plays back down the hill. I think the only OB is the road and everything, so it shouldn't reach that. Obviously the water, we're about to get to a lake here, but shouldn't get there from this shot. We're gonna go Gorgon off the tee here. Wow. Okay, definitely did almost make it to the road. That's cool. It's funny, I'm a fan of that first tip, but it was like such a brutal awakening for me. Like when I finally have to realize that I can't just do everything that everyone can do. Because like I said earlier, imposter syndrome is a real thing, especially when it comes to like individual sports like this. Like the rating system, I honestly like, I'm using it at the moment, but I kind of hate it because I see people enter tournaments that are way higher than me. And I'm like, geez, I can't beat those guys that are playing in the same division. And then I see people that are substantially lower than me. I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't lose to these guys. And then they both kind of happen. You know what I mean? I have beat guys that are higher than me, but I have lost to people that are lower than me. And I'm not like calling anyone out saying, oh wow, this guy's bad, but I'm just saying it definitely happens. All right, I'm not sure how this one's gonna play on camera. I did go too high, I kind of turned it over. I'd like to be like at least on the flat ground, even if it is shorter, but somewhere up there would have been better with a straighter disc. I think I'm gonna go mid here and just kind of throw something out and down to the flat because there's a line of trees right here. The basket's in the shade. I don't know if you can probably not see it, so. Oh my gosh. All right, I mean, this shot wouldn't have been too much better if it didn't hit that, so. Unfortunate result in the power line there, but really no big deal. It's just gonna be another up and then tap in for 4. Get down. I did realize I just forgot to bring a towel. It's in the van still, so everything's wet. All right, I finally got some decent lighting in the shade here. It'd be really nice to make some putts now. There we go, that was way more confident. All right, before we get started on hole 4, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of the Road to Pro series, Mojo Gear. They make the Mojo Riser. It's disc golf's first and only collapsible bag stand. So you just pull the tab there, set the bag down. It sits about 1.5 feet to 2 feet higher, especially with this grass being so wet. The bottom of my bag isn't getting wet. And then when you're done, I've got mine locked, but you just push that button, the legs go back up and you can take off. It's super nice. It takes a lot of stress off your back, especially, I mean, in the course of one round, but especially if you're playing tournaments, multi-day tournaments, multi-round tournaments. This thing is a lifesaver. If you want one for yourself, head over to mojogear.com and make sure to use code OMD10 at checkout to get $10 off your purchase. All right, hole 4, 261. You got tunnel off the tee, ton of water, probably about 200 feet of water, and then you have tunnel on the backside to get to the basket. I waited for tip number 2 for this hole specifically. Tip number 2 is that bad things will happen, and you just have to be okay with that. There are so many times I noticed, especially with Jake, that he threw a very, very, very good shot, and maybe just clipped a little branch or got terrible ground play. But he told himself at the end of the day, that was a good shot, and he moved on. All right, I think that's something we all kind of need to do. And granted, I could turn one over into this lake. Sure, that'd probably be a bad shot, but I just have to accept now my reality is I'm heading to a drop zone and I'm playing for 4, right? Bad things will happen in your rounds. They do all the time. Rarely do bad things never happen over the course of a round, whether that be a bad shot, whether that be getting unlucky, anything like that. So just knowing that bad things will happen. You're not a perfect person, especially when it comes to a game like this. So many different variables go into every single shot and decision that you have. And knowing that things aren't gonna go your way 100% of the time just helps you kind of keep that mental fortitude to push on to the next shot. All right, with that being said, I'm gonna go, I think this is a Leopard 3 here, and see if we can't hyzer flip, stand up, and get over to the other side. Pulled it a bit, and it broke all the way through. So that's actually the opposite case of where I threw a bad shot and something good happened. So maybe you just also have to be thinking about that like you may throw a bad shot and you get lucky. It works both ways, but you just have to be prepared for when those bad things do happen. I've been living at Circle's Edge today. I'd like to see one of these go in. Nope, early. Man, it's all sticking to me. Oh my. Gonna be honest, I don't think, and this is just talking about this tip, I don't think I've airballed 2 putts like that in a row. That was pretty bad. But I can't let it get to me, right? As frustrating as that was, we move on. All right, hole 5, 522. Another par 4 here. It says par 3, definitely a par 4. Just kind of straight, gradually going to the left. It's sitting back there. It's a 2-shotter. You want to get to kind of this first group of trees in the middle, pitch up, maybe tap in a birdie if you have a good shot. OB is lake and the sidewalk, and this is where tip number 1 really helps, because I think I would obviously typically always like to throw the forehand, but I'm throwing OB immediately, and I have all this fairway to work with a backhand. So even if I don't get as far with a backhand as I could with a forehand, the success rate is 1,000% higher, I feel like. We're gonna go Captain's Thrasher here. I've only thrown this once, but I know it's gonna be stable. Yeah, see, I threw that on a ton of hyzer, but I'm just short of those trees. I'm gonna have one more shot into the basket, tap in. One of the reasons I wanna make this video is because my mental kind of, side of things with disc golf has become so much greater recently. And I think that's why I have to credit a lot of like my success to that. And granted, I haven't been like just going out and dominating tournaments, but I've been playing very, very well, above my rating, which is really what I care about at the moment. And I know making this video will then just keep it actively in my mind to do these things, because I think I have tournaments like the next 3 weekends. I have one tomorrow when this video comes out. I have one the weekend after that. I have an A tier the weekend after that. So I have a lot of disc golf coming. I've been playing well. My mind has been right. And so I feel really good about all this. All right, I think ideally I would have gotten somewhere in between these trees that I was talking about. A little short of it, just fine. I'm gonna go that same Leopard 3 I threw on the last hole, but probably not as hard and a little more hyzer. Just try to punch it out flat because I don't want to turn it over into the water. Oh, and I slipped. I think I'm gonna go standstill pyro. I slipped last time, or my front foot kind of slipped a little bit. But so we're gonna go standstill pyro, kind of throw it out to the water and let it fade back. Whoa, just fine. See, that's the beauty of par 4s, is that even when you have a bad second or even probably shot off the tee, you can still get par. These are certainly must makes, especially for par. There we go. All right, hole 6, 180 feet, dead straight, nothing in the way. We're gonna try to give it a little run with the P Model OS here. Certainly had a really good distance. All right, you really like easy birdies. Hole 7, par 3, looks like 302 feet. 307 feet, looks a lot longer than that though. I think it plays slightly uphill, but I'm gonna go 2 because I kind of have a headwind, so I just want to see what these discs are gonna do. I'm gonna go 2 off here. I'm gonna go forehand first and then backhand second. Oh, well, see, I got that one on hyzer finally. Let's go into hole 2. Ooh, okay. Oh, we might be playing this one. Oh, much better. Swing over there. Yeah. Okay, what do you know? Circle's edge, probably just outside circle. Again. Oh, that was better. My putts haven't had a lot of pace on them recently. They're just kind of floating in there. Oh, that was better. See, and that's why you make the adjustment, people. That's why you make the adjustment. All right, hole A, par 3, it looks like 327. Straight shot across the water. I'm gonna throw this and then I'm gonna walk and talk on our last tip here. The guy's mowing, so I'm trying to throw and then get out of his way. I didn't flip. A little short. All right, my last tip. And honestly, they're all important. So I'm not gonna say this is the most important. This is definitely the one that I've had to work the most on, and that is positive self-talk. I think positive self-talk has become super important. I mean, I have negative self-talk. A lot of times it's joking, sometimes it's not, but a lot of times it's joking. But while I was cutting, I noticed that Jake, he honestly had very good positive self-talk. Obviously, there are things happen. You throw a really bad shot, you grip block, whatever, you turf one, things are gonna be said, you know. But for the most part, he had very good positive self-talk when he got bad breaks or just got unlucky in certain situations. He would always tell himself, that was the shot I was trying to throw. He would tell me, that's the line I wanted, just got unlucky. And I think having that kind of mindset, because bad things obviously do happen, especially in disc golf more often than probably we want to, but being able to realize that, like, and tell yourself, like, that's what I was trying to do. Like, that was a good shot. You know, it just makes that next shot easier, I think. Because there are definitely people out there, especially that I've watched, I mean, that I've played with and even myself at times, but that I watched at Worlds that, like, one bad thing would happen and they would kind of just go ballistic and nothing goes their way and they're terrible and they suck and this game sucks. And you just see them blow up for the next few holes until finally something good happens and then they're kind of back, you know, where they are. So being able to keep that, like, same mindset throughout the whole round, that, like, I'm okay, I threw a bad shot or something didn't go my way, but still be able to be positive about it and tell yourself that, like, you're in this position because you're supposed to be, you know what I mean? So I think being able to stay positive in that sense, and like, it's honestly really hard sometimes when you're throwing bad shot after bad shot after bad shot or bad break after bad break. You're like, man, this just sucks. But being able to stay positive and tell yourself that is something that can honestly save you strokes. All right, we gotta get out of here quick. Oh, that was a good bid. I'm only gonna do one because he's coming in hot. All right, we've made it to the last hole, hole 9. 252, par 3, over the water. It's very similar to the last hole I just played, except it's a bit shorter. We're gonna go Justice here. Might be really good. Oh my gosh, parked it. One putter is all I need because I know this one's going in. Oh my gosh, it almost didn't. And that's it. All right, that is it for today's Road to Pro video. 3 tips to help your mental game. I really hope this helps. It's helped me a ton. I hope it helps you. We'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Ozark Mountain Disc to the moon.